Okay, this is day 3 of factoring. We are doing sum of cubes, and we're doing difference of cubes. But basically, it's the same formula. The only thing that changes are the signs, right? There's a positive sign here. That's what makes it a sum, because you're adding a cubed plus b cubed. That's the cube part, okay? So what's going to happen is you'll be given the left side, and you got to break it up into the right side. That's what's going on here. So I'm going to give you, so here, up here, and this is first example, x cubed is the a cubed, right? X cubed is the a cubed, and 343 is the b cubed, right? If you don't know your cubes, which don't blame you, 343 is a pretty big number to memorize stuff about. So what I'm going to do is find the cube root. So I'm taking the cube root on the TI-84. There's a fancy cube root button. You press math. It's option number 4. It's option number 4. And that appears. That's cube root. So cube root of 343 is 7. Okay, so it's cube root of 343 is 7. So this becomes x plus 7. All right, let's go back and recap what we just did. I'm giving you the a cubed plus b cubed side. I'm giving you the a cubed plus b cubed side. So x is the a. It's not obvious, but 7 is the b. 343 is 7 to the third power. So when I rewrite it, it's x plus 7. Now, once I got here, that's this part right here. I'm doing this part. So x plus 7 is this a plus b part. Okay? And then continuing. So once you get over here, ignore what you had at the beginning. So I'm not looking at what I had at a cubed plus b cubed. I'm now just looking at over here, okay? A plus b. So x plus 7. And when I go over here, it's the first term that's squared. So x is the first term. So I square that, so it's x squared. Notice the signs are different. This is a plus sign, that's a minus sign. So I put a minus sign there. And I just put AB together. AB together is a times b. So here, x times 7, or just 7x. Okay? And then the last term is always a plus. And you square the second term. So I'm squaring the 7. So that's going to be 7 squared, or 49. And that's the answer. That's it. Okay? So this is a factoring technique that you have to follow some steps, follow some rules, follow an algorithm. Okay? There is not a whole lot of thinking involved. It's just remembering the formula, right? So this is the formula, right? And another thing is to recognize that you have a perfect cube. Now, if you don't know your cubes, which is fine, all right? Not many people do, okay? Let's see. If you put it into the calculator and it comes out into a decimal, then it's not a perfect cube. That probably means there's a common factor involved, okay? So if it doesn't come out a perfect cube, and it looks like it should be, look for a common factor, all right? In this example, 8 is a perfect cube and 125 is a perfect cube, all right? So 8 is 2 to the third, so it's 2x, okay? 2 to the third, x to the third, so I'll bring down 2x. 125 is 5 to the third, so I'll put down just 5. And then the next step, I square the first term. Square the first term. So when you square that, that becomes 4x squared. You square in the 2 and the x. Change the sign. Multiply the two steps together, the two pieces together. 2 times 5 is 10. So it's 10x. Plus, the last term is always plus, and you square the second term. So that's 25. And that's the answer. All right? And then we do difference of cubes. But this is not really a completely different formula, okay? Here, the only difference here is this sign, right? And these stay the same sign. It's this one that's the opposite, okay? That's the one that changes. So if you compare the two formulas, they're not really that different. So 216. 216 is 6 cubed. So that's 6x. And 1 is a perfect anything. 1 is a perfect cube, perfect square, perfect whatever. So it's 6x minus 1. Keep that sign. Keep that sign. And then come over here. Square the first term. So it's 36x squared. Change the sign. Right? So if that's a minus, this is a plus. So this is the only sign that changes. All right? This is the only sign that's you have to know what to do with. So 6x times 1 is 6x. The last sign is always a plus, and you square that second term. So it's 1. That's it. That's the answer. Here, 64. 64 is 4 to the third. 27 is 3 to the third. So it's 4 minus 3x. Okay? Now, what is 4 squared? You square the first term. Change the sign. Multiply. 4 times 3 is 12. So it's 12x. Last term is always plus. Square the second term. So it's 9x squared. And that's it. Okay? Of course, it does get a little harder, but not much. The only thing that might throw you for a loop is that these two have a common factor. In fact, let's change it into a problem with a common factor real quick. So what if I had 128 minus 54x cubed? Okay, 128 looks good. But if you take the cube root of 128, math for 128, that's cube root of 128, you get a decimal number, right? But you will see that 128 and 54 have a common factor of 2. So if I divide both of them by 2, I get 64 minus 27x cubed. Now, that's the same as we had before. Okay, so that's as hard as it gets for this part. Okay, so that just becomes 4 minus 3x. Nothing changes from the last problem we did. The last time I did this, it's the same answer. Okay, so for my final answer for 128 is this one here. 2 times all that mess. Okay, that's it.